A thorough analysis reveals contradictions in Jennifer's story about Maddie's tragic events. She says in her own words that she failed to protect Maddie, but from what? You cannot watch for what you don't know exists, right?
The position claimed. Jennifer claims ignorance while describing active surveillance, attempted prevention, and acknowledged failure. And if you look at the last analysis we did, we have a clear, open admission that she sent them upstairs together.
Yep, that night.
These admissions are impossible to reconcile with her claimed lack of knowledge.
Again, guys, this is a forensic linguistic app that they use, or software that they use to poke holes in people that are giving statements and statement analysis, detailed statement analysis that will break down what you're saying, what you're not saying, find the past tense. You can see that indicates failed attempt at something specific. All right. And this is a huge key. Although we found 15, 20, 30 other keys in this interview, watching her like a hawk. From what? What were you watching her about? What did you watch? What did you see? You missed everything, but you were watching her like a hawk.
So
the
category, the admissions of knowledge. I tried watching her like a hawk.
Hey, Angel. Good to see you, my friend.
I thought I was doing a good job, but wasn't. The detective states 3.5 years. I'm going to leave out some of the language, but obviously you can read it. She has specific knowledge of when it began. Only someone tracking it would correct 3.5 to 4 years.
You hear that? Do you hear? I didn't even catch that she corrected that. Now, law enforcement had said that about it started in 2020. And then how would she know what happened? And why would she be able to correct him at that? Again, she didn't know any of the timelines yet. She didn't know that Maddie was even not alive yet. She wasn't supposed to know that, but there's no way that the dumbest mother on the planet that's always zonked out is going to know exactly what happened. Isn't law enforcement listening to VEROSCOPE? I hope so. Law enforcement uses a software like VEROSCOPE. So just because we send them, I did send them information about it, but I don't know what they're using and what they're not using. But law enforcement does use this software. Thank God. I would repetition. I love this because we wouldn't.
I do apologize if there's been a transcription error there.
Now this is like Deception Detective, but with a software. So I love that VEROSCOPE did this. It's the same. It's very similar to this card of deck with a software. I think Deception Detective might possibly use a software like that and then turn it into a deck, an app, all that, right? And he's got it down.
They would snuggle, yeah. They would. So in statement analysis, we recognize when we see sensitivity or cognitive overload.
What?
She admits there's a regular pattern of physical intimacy between an adult man and a child. And she's got acceptance language and tone.
Yep, Deception Detective, baby. The eye candy. We all snuggle.
She says, but we all snuggle. I didn't think that was.
That doesn't make sense.
So here we have the cognitive overload stutter, the hiding in the crowd, deflecting responsibility. We have.
You guys, sometimes I can't even help myself. Jay, I think she meant to say I was high as a hawk. Yeah, I think VEROSCOPE got that wrong, right? And Joanne, that's a fantastic question. If you just hopped in here today, great question. How come she's not been arrested? Well, the last time we sent information, I sent information in to the lead detective, and he told me that he would look at it. He went straight to wherever the powers that be, and they went to visit Stephan Sterns' defense team to talk more about it. Now, Stephan's the only one that can tell them what exactly happened that morning, since Jenn Soto's not talking. So that's a great question. Why hasn't she been arrested yet? That's the $1 million question of the year that I want to know as well. Thank you so much. Choo, choo, Barbie G and Emily Jane. Welcome. Good to see you. And I would never say that about Baby Guilty unless it was very specific. Like, let's say Baby Guilty was going to have a sleepover and I didn't trust some of the kids there. And I said, well, I was watching them or watching her like a hawk that night. I didn't sleep one wink because I wanted to make sure that kid wasn't going to XYZ, right? You understand what we're saying here. Nobody's going to say that unless there's something to watch. Now, do I watch Baby Guilty and every single person that she talks to, every single person in the after school program, every single person that I see her give a hug to at school, yes, I check her phone, I check my phone, I let her talk to people on my phone so that I can get the responses. Do I do that? Yes. Is there a specific reason? No, just because life is shitty. Nothing other than life is rough, people suck, and there's a bunch of evil in the world. But this is much different with what's been happening for years. Rose, you're very welcome. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, that's my question also. And like I said, at the very beginning, I gave you guys the update of updates that I could. Law enforcement has gone quiet. Stephan has gone quiet on my side. Now, I'm sure that he's reached out to Deb and Chris. I'm sure that he wants, it's time for the commissary. I don't know what's going on with that. I haven't asked Deb. I don't want to know any of their personal stuff. I just want to know what's happening with Jenn Soto right now and what his defense team is doing, what they're doing. But I'm not going to be able to know that. And I assume, Deb, that Stephan's reaching out to you frequently, maybe once a week. Let me know in chat. Just curious.
Self-censorship. Not normal. I didn't think that was not. I think this was going to be normal. But she abandons it, recognizing that she's just made an error. She's self-censoring. I think it's an accidental confession here.
Accidental confession, you guys. Several times.
Hold on, she said. Again, sensitive because of the repeated pattern.
Right, Selena? Hell no.
We have a control attempt by her. When she says this, and then she had to correct herself because obviously it's not fine. We have a complete absence of denial, and therefore in this sort of circumstance, an absence of denial is as good as an admission.
There you go.
Especially from a mother.
An evil, lazy...
And this was just so wrong, wasn't it?
Potato of a mother, you mean?
To accept that the murder was evil, but everything else was fine.
Not. And I think that she believes that, guys.
That tells us her state of her attitude to it. The murder was evil, but everything else.
I mean, okay, listen, now, this is not me giving any kind of credibility to Stephan Sterns. I'm giving Stephan Sterns as much credibility as he gives himself. However, he has no reason to sit there and write out an email that would talk about Jen's involvement and how she pushed Maddie onto him, which we clearly saw ourselves, right? I mean, he still cannot talk about, all right? He still cannot talk about what he did to Maddie. In my opinion, in his mind, now this is just my evaluation of Stephan Sterns, okay? I've talked to him several times in emails, never on the phone, but in every single email, he's kept it pretty straight. And he said that, I mean, this has happened. The abuse absolutely happened. He pled to that. but Jenn Soto was directly involved in pushing Maddie on, and he can't talk any further than that. Like, he still can't. He still said to me, I cannot talk about this yet. Whatever he did to her, the abuse that went on for years, he just says, I don't know what exactly happened, and I'm not ready to talk about that part yet. However, I will not admit guilt, even though he pled no contest to taking Maddie's life, and take the full responsibility without talking about Jen's portion.